Welcome to the second Public Information Center for the Port Credit Storm Drainage Master Plan, being held virtually from March 20th to April 10th, 2024. This Public Information Center will provide an update of the study carried out for the Drainage Master Plan, which has been following the Schedule B Municipal Class Environment Assessment process. As of 2020, the Port Credit area has a population of 12,520. It is a highly urbanized and developed older area of the city and includes the waterfront areas along Lake Ontario and the Credit River, including the Port Credit Harbour. The area is also proposed to include the Hurontario Light Rail Transit Line, also known as the Hazel-McCallion Line. The Port Credit area has experienced intensification in recent years and could see more. In addition, extreme storm events have led to flooding and erosion damage within the city of Mississauga, including within Port Credit. This study is intended to determine the current and future storm drainage infrastructure requirements for the area in order to prepare a roadmap for future action. The study includes identification of the potential drainage system issues, including impacts of infill and intensification development and climate change within the Port Credit neighborhood of the city. A drainage master plan will be created to mitigate any identified deficiencies within Port Credit, while also incorporating goals from the Citywide Stormwater Master Plan, Mississauga Official Plan, and the Port Credit Local Area Plan. The total study area is approximately 1.9 kilometers squared, or 190 hectares, bordered by the Canadian National Railway tracks to the north, Lake Ontario to the south, Sean Mar Road to the west, and Hurontario Street to the east, as shown on the map outlined in blue. The parcel outlined in red east of the study area was added due to its drainage connections to the Port Credit area. However, this portion was evaluated at a higher level than other parts of the study area. As part of the study, the drainage networks within the Port Credit area include 18 different storm sewer outfalls, identified by the different colors on the map. The storm sewers outlet either into the Credit River or directly into Lake Ontario. The direction of the outfall is noted by arrows on the map. 4 out of 5 tasks within the Municipal Class Environmental Assessment Study process have already been completed. This presentation will review these tasks and their outcomes. The first Public Information Center was held in the summer of 2022. This Public Information Center is an opportunity to provide feedback on the tasks completed to date. There will also be an opportunity to review the final task of this study, the Storm Drainage Master Plan Report, during the 30-day public review later in 2024. Task 1 was a study area characterization, which contains a background review of municipal policy, an inventory of natural areas and species based on available data from the City and Credit Valley Conservation, and an inventory of storm sewer data. The storm sewers carry rainwater and melting snow from roofs and roads, channeling it into bodies of water in an effort to prevent surface flooding within developed areas. Task 2 was a drainage system performance assessment, which built upon the study area characterization and applied modeling software to assess flows and drainage system capacities in various scenarios. Hydrologic modeling estimated runoff flows during 1 in 10-year and 1 in 100-year storm events, as well as surface cover and soil infiltration capacity. Hydraulic modeling assessed capacity of storm sewers, roadways, and linkages such as catch basins and inlets. Modeling showed that 59% of the networks would be at full capacity during a 10-year storm event and have susceptibility to surcharge or flood. Task 2 also completed other modeling of the drainage system. The major system, or overland flow results, show that 96% of roadway sections within Port Credit would meet city standards for the 100-year storm event. Both of the assessments for intensification and climate change showed worsened storm sewer, overland flow, and drainage system performance in scenarios without any type of controls in place. Task 3 was to develop a long list of potential mitigation alternatives based on the characterization and background of the area in Task 1, as well as the modeling results in Task 2. The long list of 10 alternatives is divided into 4 main categories: storm sewer and catch basin capacity modifications, grading improvements for the major system, infiltration, storage, and quantity control, and combinations of the previously mentioned options. Several options were then evaluated based on their effectiveness on improving the drainage in the Port Credit area. From the long list of alternatives, several options were screened out from further consideration due to the following reasons. The numbering of this slide matches the options presented on the previous slide of the long list of options. Given the high urbanization of the Port Credit area, roof leader and foundation drain disconnection is likely not feasible as there are no appropriate pervious areas to discharge the flows into. For residential areas with detached homes, roof leaders and foundation drains would already be expected to be disconnected as per typical city requirements. Enforcement of roof leader and foundation drain disconnections can also be challenging, and as such, this option is considered likely infeasible. Grading on private property is considered challenging given the need for agreement from private landowners and limited possible changes given the highly urbanized nature of Port Credit. Grading modifications within the public road right-of-way may be feasible to a limited degree in localized areas, but is generally constrained by the need to meet adjacent grades at property boundaries and adjacent streets and right-of-way. The highly urbanized Port Credit makes this option not feasible for wide-scale application. In general, quantity control is considered to be of limited value for the study area given the proximity to outlets of the Credit River and Lake Ontario. Available space for quantity control measures is similarly a challenge as super pipes require space within the road right-of-way section and can lead to utility conflicts. As well, offline storage areas require sufficient available public space, and within the Port Credit areas, larger public spaces are typically located along the shoreline of either the Credit River or Lake Ontario, at which point quantity control measures would not be required as noted previously. Due to Bill 23, More Homes Built Faster Act, implemented in 2022, there are limitations of the site plan control process for new development, and therefore, low-impact development, LID, best management practices, BMPs, to promote on-site infiltration may be more difficult to implement. After the screening out of several options, the remaining options were evaluated using a fulsome perspective as per the class environmental assessment process. Each evaluation category was further divided into evaluation criteria, and the description of each evaluation criteria is summarized in the table on this slide. The general description of the evaluation categories is as follows. The functionality category notes how effective the alternative may be in addressing identified drainage system issues and the ease or complexity associated with the construction and long-term operation of the alternative. The social environment category refers to the impacts or issues relating to the interaction of the community or neighborhood with the implementation of the proposed alternative. For instance, this evaluates effectiveness of the proposed alternative at reducing risk and increasing public safety, or impacts to public recreational spaces as well as private property, including short-term construction impacts to the area. The economic environment category evaluates the immediate capital costs and the future long-term operations and maintenance costs and overall cost-benefit of the alternative. The cultural environment category refers to the impacts issues related to potential archaeological and cultural heritage resources. It should be noted that as the current study did not include specific assessments for these areas, the screening has been more generalized based on limited available data or typical areas of concern from previous experience. The natural environment category examines the potential environmental impacts or benefits that alternatives may have on the local area, including both terrestrial and aquatic features. The climate change category is an evaluation of how the alternative may contribute to overall climate change impacts, such as greenhouse gas emissions, and also how resilient or adaptive the works are to future changing climatic conditions. To evaluate these categories, criteria weighting was utilized to reflect the relative importance of each evaluation factor. As part of Task 3, a technical assessment of the storm sewer works was completed. It involved a base modeling approach developed in PCS WMM. The PCSWMM software was selected based on previous application in the City of Mississauga for similar assessments, the robustness of the tool, support through the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, as well as enhancements, including powerful GIS tools. The dual drainage system of storm sewer, overland flow, and road right-of-way was developed in PCSWMM, and model was integrated with hydrology, such as runoff potential from the drainage area. PCSWMM was used to assess drainage system performance for 10-year storm events, while overland flow was assessed for 100-year storm events. Further, the model incorporated an intensification scenario of a 50% increase in low-density residential areas and an assessment of potential climate change impacts. The findings of the model indicated that between 29% and 41% of storm sewers are below capacity, and larger sewer sheds have greater issues than smaller watersheds. Further, several roadways have been identified to have depression storage issues, such as ponding. Increased intensification of development in the Port Credit area, as well as climate change, will result in an increase in storm sewer surcharging, as well as overland flow depths. Based on the evaluations and technical assessment, the generally preferred approach involves storm sewer upgrades in conjunction with catch basin capacity upgrades as required. For the base conditions to be met, 52% of storm sewer sections require an upgrade. The evaluation results also indicate that the storm sewer upgrades also benefit overland flow, major system, performance for the 100-year storm event. The city used closed-circuit television (CCTV) review of the storm sewers to identify that there are no items of immediate action. Thus, project works will need to be accommodated in the city's long-term capital works budget. The construction cost estimates, which will be noted further, are to be reviewed with city staff, with potential input from Peel Region. This project is long-term, and the estimated timeline is approximately 5 to 10 years until the start of construction within the Port Credit area. As part of Task 4 and the preferred option to improve storm sewer upgrades, segments of the evaluated storm sewers were grouped into 3 projects to be completed in the Port Credit area. The streets within the project footprints are noted in the table on this slide. The projects have been evaluated through the previously mentioned criteria to determine their impact on improving drainage. If nothing were to occur within the project area, the alternative weighted score would be 4.3 out of 10. If upgrades of the storm sewer systems were to be completed, this would increase the score to 6.1 out of 10 for each project area. The map on this slide shows the area of the recommended storm sewer upgrades. From west to east, Project 2 includes Maple and Pine Avenue. Project 1 includes Helene, High and Park Street, and Project 3 includes Forest and Rosewood Avenue, as well as Lakeshore Road. For Project 3, there is also a potential to redirect the trunk sewer onto the public right-of-way of Rosewood Avenue and Lakeshore Road. As well, after Project 1 is complete, this may eliminate the need for trunk storm sewer upgrades along the west side of Lakeshore Road. The Brightwater development is not required to be assessed for the storm sewer upgrades, and further, the trunk storm sewer on Mississauga Road will be upgraded as part of this development. In addition to the storm sewer upgrades, and even with constraints due to Bill 23, More Homes Built Faster Act, implemented in 2022, Low Impact Development, LID, Best Management Practices, BMPs, are recommended to be implemented to serve as enhancements for the proposed projects. There are 3 types of LID BMPs: centralized, linear, and lot level, shown on the map in this slide with different colors. Centralized LID BMPs are applied in larger parking areas and parks, such as incorporating chambers and underground storage. Linear LID BMPs are applied within the roadway right-of-way and include infiltration trenches, exfiltration pipes, bioretention, tree planter units, and dry swales. The lot-level LID BMPs would be applied to residential areas with significant ponding, usually in the forms of soakaway pits and bioretention areas. As all 3 projects have similar evaluation scores, The prioritization of projects is based on the degree of urbanization in the area, as well as the redevelopment pressures and overall findings from the technical evaluation. Project 1 is in a highly urbanized area with intensification occurring. Project 2 is in a residential area with single-family detached housing with intensification also occurring. And Project 3 is the lowest priority as there is less intensification occurring in the area. Projects 1 and 2 will have the same level of services throughout construction, but surface ponding issues would be reduced. Project 3 has less prevalent depression storage and flow deficiencies than within the other project areas. As noted, the construction is estimated to begin in approximately 5 to 10 years, and affected homeowners and residents will be notified in advance of any construction. The estimated construction costs, excluding engineering fees, design fees, or contingency, are shown in the table above. However, more formalized cost-benefit approaches and budgets will be confirmed through further studies. We thank you for viewing this presentation and being engaged with the City of Mississauga and improvements within Port Credit. In summary, there are 5 tasks for this municipal class environmental assessment study process to design and implement the Storm Drainage Master Plan for Port Credit. Tasks 1 to 4 have already been completed, and the City is currently completing the final report. This report will be available later in 2024, and you will be able to review it during the 30-day public review period. If you have any follow-up questions or comments on this video, please email munif.ahmad@mississauga.ca or matt.senior@wsp.com.